There's a woman walking through the streets of Paris who makes everyone pause, and she never says a single thing. Nothing she wears is loud. No statement necklaces, no designer logos on display, nothing begging for your attention. Most days, it's a pair of jeans, a cashmere knit, perhaps a scarf wrapped with this effortless precision. And yet she looks more polished than women decades younger who are working 10 times harder at it. Her name is Linda V. Wright. She's 77 years old, and she has quietly created one of the most respected wardrobes on earth, built around 5 essential pieces. Not 50, not 500, 5. And the part that genuinely shifted something in how I approach my own closet, it's not what she puts on, it's what she intentionally removes. We'll come back to that. Hey everyone, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, I'm Parker Holloway, and today we're diving into the story of a woman who has called Paris home for more than 40 years and has elevated the simplest wardrobe imaginable into something truly extraordinary. Linda V. Wright is the kind of style icon who makes the case that restraint is the ultimate sophistication when it's done with intention. So let's break it all down. Number 1. Cashmere is her starting point, not her splurge. Here's where Linda begins, and frankly, it's the place where so many of us stumble. We look at cashmere as something reserved for occasions, don't we? The holiday dinner, the anniversary, the moment you want to feel elevated. Linda rejects that entirely. Cashmere for her functions the same way a basic cotton tee functions for the rest of us. It's her everyday starting layer. She owns and operates a boutique in Paris called Crimson Cashmere, where she spent years building a remarkable collection of cashmere sweaters and knits in beautifully considered shades. Think rich mustards, deep burgundies, muted heather grays, stunning navy hues. Her approach is to anchor nearly every outfit around a single gorgeous cashmere piece, a turtleneck, a V-neck, a clean crew neck. What matters, though, is that she isn't stacking cashmere on top of an already busy outfit. The cashmere itself is the look, and that's a critical difference because so many of us introduce too many competing layers. Linda begins with one beautifully soft, perfectly fitted knit and allows that single piece to carry the weight. If you've been holding your cashmere back like it's something sacred, I'd lovingly push you to reconsider. Throw it on for a Tuesday morning coffee run. Wear it while you walk the dog. That's exactly what Linda does, and honestly, it shifts the entire feeling of how you move through your day. Number 2. Jeans are not her throwaway piece, they're her foundation. This is the one that catches people off guard because most of us associate denim with the opposite of elegance. Jeans are what you default to when polish isn't the priority, right? Linda turns that completely on its head. She said openly that jeans make up the bulk of what she wears week to week, and she's been captured in them countless times, looking utterly remarkable. But here's what sets her apart. She gravitates toward straight-leg jeans, typically relaxed, occasionally slightly wide, and she anchors them with those gorgeous cashmere knits and sculptural scarves and truly distinctive shoes. The denim serves as the quiet backdrop that allows every other element to shine. She's not reaching for distressed finishes or whatever trendy cut the magazines are pushing. She's not cycling through silhouettes each season. She identifies the shape that flatters her body, and she commits to it year after year after year. Her preferred denim label is a Japanese brand called 45R, and she's remained devoted to them for years because she prizes the quality of the fabric and the way it softens beautifully over time. And I believe there's something powerful in that lesson for every one of us. Rather than collecting 5 mediocre pairs, put your money into 1 or 2 pairs that fit you perfectly, that feel extraordinary when you slip them on, and then let them become your anchor, the way Linda does. And just wait until you discover what she puts on her feet with those jeans that most women would never consider. We're getting there. Number 3. Scarves are not decoration, they're structure. Now this is the area where Linda truly distinguishes herself from everyone else, and I think it's the element most women overlook entirely. When the average person pictures a scarf, they imagine something dainty and ornamental, perhaps a silk square peeking out of a neckline or a thin wrap for evening. Linda approaches scarves as a load-bearing part of the outfit. She wears these stunningly beautiful, oversized scarves, cashmere, silk, sometimes richly woven textiles from her travels, and she wraps them in a way that completely reshapes the silhouette. A straightforward cashmere sweater and jeans transforms into this sculptural, layered, sophisticated composition purely through how she positions a scarf. Her color instincts are remarkable. She'll set a deep plum cashmere sweater against a mustard and cream plaid scarf, and it reads as completely natural. Not calculated, not fussy, simply perfect. Here's what matters, though. Most of us either leave the scarf in the drawer or throw it on as a last-minute thought. Linda treats it as the anchor of the whole look. If you're unsure how to begin with this, I'd suggest finding one large, gorgeous scarf in a shade that genuinely lights up your face, and just start playing. Drape it, loop it, let it fall loose. You'll be surprised by how much depth and interest it creates. Now, everything I've walked you through so far, the cashmere, the denim, the scarves, most women could piece together given enough patience and experimentation, but items 4 and 5 are something else. These are the decisions that took Linda decades to arrive at, and they're honestly the reason she can enter any room at 77 and hold quiet attention without making any effort to do so. Number 4, shoes carry the entire message. This is where Linda becomes truly fascinating, and it's the detail I hinted at earlier that most women would never dream of attempting. While many women our age reach for sensible flats or reliable boots, and there's nothing wrong with that, Linda takes the unexpected route. She wears embroidered Turkish slippers, velvet loafers, Gucci horsebit loafers on one occasion, and handmade John Lobb shoes on another. She's even been spotted wearing gorgeous slides and sandals with jeans and cashmere when the weather turns warm. And what's remarkable is that none of these shoes are flashy or of the moment. They're all timeless, but they're surprising timeless pieces. That's the difference. She's not gravitating toward what's safe, she's gravitating toward what's captivating. And the shoes are consistently the element that makes people glance twice, because they lift everything worn above them. A simple sweater, jeans, and a scarf instantly read as completely deliberate when they're anchored by a pair of embroidered velvet slippers. For anyone who feels trapped in a footwear routine, and honestly, I lived there for the longest time, I'd invite you to reimagine your shoes not as the sensible last step, but as the exclamation point of your outfit. The detail that signals you were thoughtful about this, you invested care in this. And there's one final piece Linda relies on to unify everything, and this is the one that honestly struck me the deepest. Number 5. What she removes is the real revelation. This is what I've been working toward, and I believe it's the single most powerful idea in this entire video. Linda V. Wright, at 77 years old, with her natural silver gray hair and her barely there makeup and her understated confidence, she does not accessorize through accumulation. She doesn't layer on bracelets and chains and stacks of rings. What she does instead is select one pair of beautiful earrings. That's it. Sometimes they're striking, a handcrafted artisan pair, something with texture or color or an unusual silhouette. Sometimes understated, but it's always just earrings. And you might assume that's simply personal taste, but I believe it runs so much deeper. Because what Linda is practicing is editing. She's making a deliberate decision to preserve space, to let the cashmere speak, to let the scarf fulfill its role, to let the shoes draw the eye. Most of us, when we get dressed, and I count myself here, we layer and layer and layer because we're worried the outfit falls short. We're worried that we fall short. And so we reach for one more piece and then another, and before long, we've smothered the look beneath our uncertainty about being noticed. Linda takes the opposite path. She pares back until nothing remains but what's essential, and what's left is her. Not the garments, not the jewelry, her, the confidence, the carriage, the silver hair she has never once made excuses for. Decades of understanding precisely who she is and dressing to celebrate that woman, not to conceal her. And I think that's what resonates most deeply about Linda's philosophy. It was never really about cashmere or jeans or scarves or shoes or earrings. It's about the conviction that you are enough, that you don't need to keep adding to earn attention, that the most commanding thing you can wear at any age, but particularly now in this season of life when the world occasionally tries to render us invisible, is the steady assurance that you deserve a place in every room you enter, and you don't need anyone's approval to occupy that space. That woman who brings people to a standstill on the sidewalks of Paris without raising her voice or following a single trend, she isn't wearing more than you. She simply understands what to edit out. So tomorrow morning, when you're facing your closet, sit with one question, not what should I put on, but what am I brave enough to leave behind? What might shift if you trusted yourself enough to wear less and let it speak louder? Now, on the subject of women who've perfected the art of quiet presence, next week we're exploring someone whose style takes a completely different direction from Linda's. More daring, more vivid, and every bit as magnetic, and I can't wait to introduce her to you. All right, everyone, that wraps up everything I have on Linda V. Wright and her stunningly simple 5-piece philosophy of style. I hope this video gave you something useful and maybe a spark of inspiration. If it did, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you're here for what comes next. I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. Which of Linda's 5 elements spoke to you most deeply? And is there a piece you've been reflexively adding to your outfits that you might be finally ready to let go of? Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one.